We got Binkley in studio. Binkley, how you doing, my friend, man? It's good to see you, man.
Carrington, Rob, how we doing, my friends?
A lot to get into, man. Let's start with the Chiefs. I want to get your opinion on a couple of players. I want to get your opinion on Sunday's beatdown. Have you seen a team dominate another team at the professional level the way that we're talking about?
No.
The analogy that I've been using is it felt like an August game between Ohio State and Akron. That's what it was like. For you to have 30 plays for 95 yards to only get 2 first downs, 1 first down was because of penalty. So, like, just everything that could go wrong did go wrong for the Raiders. They got dominated in every single facet of the game. Can you remember a team at this level, the NFL, they got dominated like we've seen the Raiders?
I haven't seen it. The Raiders are a weird team. You know, they beat the Patriots in week 1, like in New England. That's crazy. The Raiders went to New England and won a game. I still can't believe that's
I was optimistic about the Raiders.
But that's why week 1 is a fool's gold, week 1. Because week 1, teams lose that are a good team, and teams win that suck. And obviously the Raiders beating the Patriots in New England is a big difference. And they were pasted by Indianapolis 40-6 this year. That game was at Indy. Then they turned around and beat the Titans. That's not a great win. It's the Titans. They suck. But we're talking about NFL players. I mean, they're all pro players. That's the best of the best. Even if they are the Raiders, to get completely dominated like that. It's not like the Chiefs at 85 Bears. It's not like they're the 2000 Ravens. They're 2025 Chiefs, and they completely and utterly had them crying. But again, this is what the Raiders get. They're dumb in what they do. They never have a rhyme or reason. And, you know, Tom Brady's there to try to fix things or whatever. But the Raiders, like the Chargers, decided to use our first-round picks on running backs. Again, how does that stop Mahomes? I'll ask that question again. This team in Kansas City's won 9 straight divisions. So the Raiders spend their first round pick. Listen, I love Ush and Jenny. I love that. But the Raiders need so much more than a running back. And the Chargers need so much more than Amari Hampton. It's just weird that you have a team in your division with 9 straight titles and you go and draft running backs in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the problem for the Raiders is just, I mean, they missed on what we thought their foundation was going to be. Why you were optimistic about the Raiders, and I was coming into the season, was Geno was just a very steadying hand at quarterback. He has been anything but. I thought that Ashton Jeanty had a chance to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. He's not close to being in that conversation.
He should be, but that line sucks.
You and I were talking about Brock Bowers. He's one of the best tight end prospects we've seen in quite some time. He's been hurt for most of the season. So kind of what I thought the Raiders could potentially build their foundation on and having one of the better offenses in the league with Geno, Jeanty, and Bowers, none of those things have worked out for them.
And you have a coach where the quarterback worked with and said success with in Seattle. Pete Carroll's no joke. The guy's won twice at the college level. He's won once at the pro level. And if Russell Wilson doesn't throw an interception to the Patriots, Tom Brady has one less ring. And then Seattle has yet another ring for Pete Carroll in the pros. So, yeah, it's an accomplished head coach, and I'm shocked at the way they played. That was embarrassing.
You think Pete's coming back next year? Because I could definitely see a scenario in which Pete decides to stay home with his family.
I could see him moving on. He seems to be young in spirit, though. He's spry for his age, and I know they believe in him because he's won before, but you go out and have, games like that. Now, guys look to be traded that you never expect to be traded, and I'm not expecting them to trade Max Crosby, and they shouldn't trade Max Crosby. It sucks that a talent like that is wasting away with the Raiders. But we're talking about a team that made the playoffs a couple years ago. We're talking about a team that fired Josh McDaniels after going 3-5. And then Antonio Pierce comes in and goes 5-4. Guess what? That cost them draft picks. Josh DeBow with AP put it on Twitter, and he's absolutely right. He keeps saying this. This is why I don't advocate for firing coaches if you want to tank, if you want to suck, because the Raiders were in line for a good draft pick. Hell, they could have gotten Drake May. But no. They had to hire Antonio Pierce. The team played hard for him. He wins 5 games. See, that's dumb. You should just kept – if McDaniels is bad, just let him ride it out, man. Just let him ride it out and get that draft pick, because you know what? A Drake May makes a big difference to your team.
I think this is the best the Chiefs have looked in 4 years. I mean, just like right now at this exact point, if I'm talking about how complete I think their offense is, the way that their defense is playing right now, I think this is the best version of the Chiefs since we've seen since 2021. Rob and I actually think that's the best Chiefs team we've seen during this era. You remember, they ran through the regular season, so much to the fact we were asking if the Chiefs were bored in the regular season back in 2021. I think this little 4-week stretch with this offense, with the way their defense is playing, I think this is the best they've looked in 4 years.
I think you guys are right. If you go back to there, I've been saying that I think they're better than 24. I would take the 25 team over the 24 team.
I don't think it's that close right now.
On a neutral field, 100 days a year, just 100 out of 100, I'd pick the 25 Chiefs over the 24 Chiefs. And that was a team that won a division by 4 games from a division that had 3 teams in the playoffs and a team that went to the Super Bowl. So, yes, I take the 25 Chiefs over the 24 Chiefs. They're built all around. They're top 5 in offense and defense. I mean, this is exactly where the Chiefs want to be. It's not, being top offensive team when Mahomes first started playing and be, last in scoring defense. We've seen them with the Chiefs. To be top 5 in both, when before, last couple of years they've been good in defense, which is much better than 15th in points per game the last 2 years. And to be top 5 in both at this point, I mean, that's an incredible testimony to this team and the creativity they're showing.
I think a major reason, at least why I feel the way that I feel, is I just think that this Chiefs offense has a chance to shut the door that I don't think last year's team had. I think last year's offense left the door open a lot last year, where they would get the ball back. The offense is up 7. You go down the field, you put a drive together, you can go up 14, and you can send everybody home. I don't think the Chiefs put too many of those drives together. I do think that this year's team has the ability to do that. I'm looking at their offense right now, and I don't really know what you take away. You try to take away Kelsey. You got Rice and Worthy on the other side. You try to take away Rice. You got Worthy on the other side. Like, I'm looking at an offense now that I think can really attack from all angles. I don't think last year's offense could do that.
I don't think so either. And Rashee Rice, when healthy, he does a lot of the same things Kelsey does, even though they're different positions, but they run a lot of the dirty routes, across the middle. Rice isn't one of these, flashy, over-the-top speed. He's fast, but he doesn't have the speed near the speed that Thornton does or Worthy does or Hollywood Brown does. I mean, he's, kind of a middle-of-the-pack speed receiver, but he's got incredible hands, and he runs incredible routes. He's great yards after catch, and that's what the Chiefs are. I remember Mahomes' first year when he was in Kansas City, and they were asking him questions. He's like, yeah, my job is just to kind of put the ball in the hands of my playmakers, let them make plays. I mean, it's as simple as that, but it's what he does. Just get the ball in their hands and let them make plays. But you have to have special players to do that. And I've seen better yards after catch from Hollywood Brown this year because he's usually catch and go straight down. We've seen him actually break some tackles and go forward. Kelsey's breaking a lot of tackles. On the Lions game, he had 4 missed tackles. He had 5 all of last year, and he had 4 just in that game. And Rice is certainly one of those guys. But them doing creative things, and I know that play's getting a lot of attention where Mahomes is trying to draw him off sides, and he looks to the sideline like this, hey, this isn't working, and he runs that fake with that Maryland T they were doing. Well, on the goal line, where they actually scored a touchdown, it's when they went back and did the single wing. Now, it's not talked about because there was an offsides by Mike Caliendo, so the play didn't count. But that was an easy touchdown run for the Chiefs because it was Mahomes in a 3-point stance and Gardner Minshew in a 3-point stance, like the old single wing. Now, you'll see that again with Minshew and Mahomes because that was just a simple variation as a pump pass there for Minshew, but they'll see him spin around. Like a true single wing, they'll spin around. And so Mahomes and Gardner Minshew will do that at some point. It's a different variation of what they ran on the goal line. I mean, they're just doing creative things and having fun. And not only that, but they always do it against the Raiders, which is funny because they try to experiment. Like, hey, we're playing the Raiders. Let's go ahead and throw this crap in.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Jay Binkley. He's joining us for the 4 o'clock hour. We'll talk some college as well. Missouri has a big game this weekend. KU and K-State both play each other this weekend as well. Let's talk about Christian Fulton. He has been a healthy DMP for each of the last 2 weeks. What do you think is going on there? Because this is my theory. I think he just kind of got behind the 8 ball. He wasn't available in training camp. He wasn't available in preseason. Those snaps are now going to somebody else. You dealt with an injury at the very beginning of the season. Now other guys have just kind of taken your spot. Yeah, you're getting paid. You made good money in the offseason, but now I think the defense is kind of settled in with who they like, who they trust, and who they're moving forward with, and I'm not really sure if he's in the huddle. I think aside from an injury, I don't really see how Christian Fulton gets back on the field.
You're 100% right on that. And Andy Reid is truly a you can't meet the club in the tub guy. Because you always hear that, except for a Mahomes, except for a Chris Jones, except for a Kelsey. Like, he's big on that. He's big on guys that are practicing, just like, through the years. If you're not practicing on Friday, that's why we always wait to see the injury report on Friday, right? Who practiced? Who's practicing on Friday? Because there's been very few people that haven't practiced on Friday that end up playing on Sunday. Now, it has happened with guys like Chris Jones and whatever, but sometimes if it's going to be a Hall of Famer, you're like, do whatever. It's kind of like Lawrence Taylor treatment with the New York Giants. But typically, Andy Reid is, if you're not out there helping produce, we're not going to play you. And last year we saw, Jalen Watson go ahead of Josh Williams. I thought Josh Williams may have the upper hand on Watson, but that's clearly not been the case. Watson's been the better player. And I think Noel Williams has really surprised him with his physicalness, how good he is at sticking to receivers, and his playmaking ability on defense. And I think that's been a real surprise to him. I mean, the Chiefs are the best corner since Jerry Sneed, in my opinion. Yes, Trent McDuffie's a great cover corner and all that, but I'm saying all-around toughness type of dude was Legere. This is a Legere Sneed that actually practices.
Yeah, I'm looking at right now the defensive snap counts, and you know I'm really big on snap counts and who's on the field and who's not on the field. I mean, I would have never had guessed what's happened with Christian Fulton. I mean, these are the only players who have played fewer snaps this season than Christian Fulton. Joshua Williams, who is a player right now whose name is being thrown out there. Williams clearly outside the huddle when just talking about in terms of the rotation when it comes
and by the way, I'm surprised he wasn't traded at the end of training camp. I thought really before they set the roster, he was going to be that one guy that they moved. Because he can't get any more than a 6th or 7th round pick for Williams. You know, if you can get that. Because Chiefs have 5 picks right now. They don't have a 6th. They don't have a 7th. They were in the trades.
I'm not giving you anything for Joshua Williams.
So they have 6 picks because they have 2 4th-rounders. But, yes, yeah, I wouldn't do it either. But I do feel that he was on the trade market right there before they set the roster. I really felt they wanted to deal him.
I guess, actually, I'll clarify with this. If I'm going to trade for Joshua Williams, I'm interested in a flip. I'm interested in you got a 6, we've got a 6, let's swap. We keep our pick. We move down a little bit, but we pick up a player. I mean, we're talking about a guy that you don't think can make your rotation, basically a special teams. Like, you kind of have to be in a dire situation to trade for Josh.
And the Chiefs don't have those late-round picks to flip because they've used them.
Like, you'd have to be the Lions to me to trade for Josh. Like, you'd have to be really, really injury deficient right now on the back half of the defense to be scouring to go get Joshua Williams.
Yeah, the Chiefs don't need pick swaps at this point. They actually need picks.
But I'm looking at, like, the guys that Fulton has played more than. It's Jeffrey Bassa, Malik Herring, and Cooper McDonald. Those are the only defensive players that he's played so far with. Like, that's the group. Like, Jack Cochran has played more defensive snaps than Christian Fulton. This is the guy that you gave 2 years, $20 million to, guaranteed his signing bonus and his contract this year and $5 million next year. They made a significant investment in Christian Fulton for him to not be on the field.
No, I'm with you, and I was excited when they made the move. I know he's often injured, but you kind of got to put that aside and hope things change. Like, that's always the hope. You bring in a guy that's injured often, and you hope it changes. But oftentimes when you're new to a team, it's not like he's been here 3 and 4 years and has built up Andy Reid's trust. He's got to earn it, man. I don't care how much money you make and who you get. It's a good thing about Andy Reid. He literally doesn't care what kind of money you made, what round you were picked. And I always appreciate that from a coach that'll do that kind of stuff. He's got to earn his trust, and he just never did it at this point and doesn't fit in really to the scheme. I mean, I've always liked the guy when he's played.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Jay Binkley here, going through the Chiefs. We'll get to college football here coming up in just a little bit. Let's go through some of the defensive line options that are out there. Someone on the text line threw out Calais Campbell as a possibility. It would make sense to me.
I actually like that one.
Older veteran player on a 1-year deal. Team's not going anywhere. Would he be interested in accepting a trade, going to somewhere for the final 8-9 weeks of the season and potentially helping out? Jalen Phillips is also a name that's been thrown out there. He's on the last year of a rookie contract, a first-round deal, so this year is fully guaranteed for him. That kind of me seems like the Veach special. He's a guy who's dealt with injuries before, but obviously a guy who tested very well, was drafted very well, a good prospect coming out of college, just hasn't really turned into the player people thought. A lot of that's been due to injury. He tore his Achilles 2 years ago, tore his ACL last year.
I like Calais Campbell a lot in the situation. I know he's 39, but he's got 5 sacks. To me, he's a more productive player even than Jalen Phillips at Jalen Phillips' age. And Jalen Phillips had a hard time staying on the field. He was great as a rookie. I mean, this guy was getting Defensive Rookie of the Year consideration, everything. He had those 8.5 sacks his rookie year when he came out of UCLA. But then he's been hampered by injuries the last couple of years. And, well, that's okay for a short-term rental, but you got to play, man. You got to be consistent, be on that field. Andy Reid's got to trust that you're going to be on the field. And Jalen's had a productive year. Calais is perfect for me because of his age, and it's not a long-term contract. It's just bringing him in. He knows the deal. He's here through the playoff run. He's a Terrell Suggs. He's a Melvin Ingram. He's whatever. You bring in a veteran, which this clubhouse is really structured. It's not whimsy like it would fall. It's not made of bamboo. It's made of concrete. You know, you bring a guy in, it's a solid foundation of a clubhouse. But this is a good clubhouse guy. Remember Terrell Suggs came in here and they all started taking notepads like he did? Yeah. And this is a more productive version of Terrell Suggs. So I do like Campbell a lot.
I don't know why the Chiefs just didn't go get one of these players from the very, very beginning. I mean, you could have got Calais Campbell at the very beginning of the season for a $5 million deal. Now, maybe he just wanted to be somewhere it's warm. Maybe he's got family there. I don't know all his backstory. But, I mean, you would think that there would have been a contending team for a guy with a proven track record like Campbell on a one-year, $5 million deal. I'm surprised that more teams weren't in on him at the very beginning of the season.
Yeah, that one-year deal. I think teams are afraid of the age. I think they saw the age because they fall off that cliff real fast in the NFL. And I think people were afraid of it because, he's with the Dolphins back in 24, just that one-year deal in Arizona. But I truly think teams were afraid of that age when it came to him. But is this a perfect guy this time of year? Yeah. Hey, if you're Brett Veach, go play somewhere else, that's fine. But come here for the last couple of months because if you look at the schedule for the Chiefs, it is very enticing for December on. I love their schedule. We're talking road trips like to Tennessee and Vegas. Come on now. Tennessee and going out to Arrowhead West. It's the perfect setup for the Chiefs. But, yeah, the Campbell makes perfect sense for the Kansas City Chiefs because it's kind of what they do.
I want to play this audio for you. This is Nate Taylor. This is him talking about Omar Norman Lott, his injury, and what that means for the depth on the defensive line.
Omar Norman Lott, as I wrote on ESPN.com and alluded to this on Twitter, he was going to start getting more snaps outright than Jerry Tillery and Derek Nottie to expedite his progress. Well, now he's got the ACL tear. He's out for the season. Just a devastating injury for a guy who has dealt with a number of injuries this year.
How long until they start calling around on teams at defensive?
I would say Monday.
Okay.
You get another sample size with the games that have been played on Sunday. I think logically you can start making significant calls with real intention behind them Monday before you play. You might check in now just to get a feel, but nothing serious. I'd be a little bit more surprised if either side, was willing to initiate a trade right now just because of what you said for maybe the teams that will eventually be sellers. But, you have until November 4th, so there's no it's not like you have to rush in order to get compensation right now from a contending team.
But the Chiefs are going to add somebody, right? I'd be surprised
that would be
if they
the
added
assumption.
no one.
Yes, that would be the assumption.
Yeah, I'm with Cody there at the end. I suspect the Chiefs are going to add a defensive lineman between now and November 4th. The question is who, and then I think the second question is, does that player make a difference? They did this last year. They traded a 6th-round pick for Joshua Uche. We all went on his Pro Football Reference page. We saw that he had 11.5 sacks a couple of years ago. We got all excited about the possibility of putting him in Spags' defense and that he was going to unlock something. Nothing happened. He couldn't get on the field. And now you look in Philadelphia. I mean, he plays 30% of the snaps there. So he's just another rotational piece for them. So I guess to me, the question now with the Chiefs is, and I think this is the biggest question leading into the Buffalo game, who are they thinking about potentially adding? And if they add that player, are they committed to putting him on the field and giving him a chance? They never put Joshua Uche on the field. Maybe he could have helped him, maybe he couldn't. But you certainly can't help him from the sideline.
It's going to be a scheme fit that they know they can play right away. Because, again, they're not looking for long-term answers. This is pushing all in for this season when you still got Chris Jones before, you fall off that cliff. Kelsey's probably last year. But you push all in now, and Brett Veach is this younger GM type that'll do these kind of things. Unfortunately, he didn't have the draft capital ready to play with. He didn't have that draft capital to go out there and really do a lot of maneuvering. That's why this Calais Campbell might be a good situation for the Chiefs. Late round pick swaps are really not an option at this point. Maybe a Jalen Phillips, somebody like that. I'm not wild about that, but he is out there, and Bradley Chubb's out there, but that's going to cost you a lot more money. I'm more of the running back situation. I know you're set right now, and the Chiefs like what they see in Brashard.
You and I are the only two people that feel this way.
And they like this combination of Kareem Hunt. But all of a sudden, when we thought Kareem Hunt was hurt against the Raiders, it's oh, crap. You don't know how long he's out. Then you see the reports that he's just fine. Kelsey goes and tells us Tracy Wolfson, he's fine. And that was great. But you're one play away. So all of a sudden, not having that depth that you think you did. Because Andy Reid loves it now because Brashard's his pass-catching back like P. Ryan. Kareem Hunt, your grinder, at picking up third downs like crazy and fourth downs like crazy. He's been awesome at the 1 yard.
What's Isaiah Pacheco's role? Because I'm with you. The other two have a very defined role. What's Pacheco's role?
He can't catch, and they're trying to get motivated. They're hoping to catch that lightning in a bottle contract year, that he catches that contract year for somebody else and just has that enthusiasm. I'll give him credit. The guy's plays a lot of enthusiasm, but you're one play away from all of a sudden having Elijah Mitchell come off your deactive list, which you know, you talk about Fulton being a doghouse. This guy completely is. He can't even get on the field, man.
I haven't seen him.
Like Elijah Mitchell's here. He's got that 4.32 speed. I mean, he's holding break glass in case of emergency. You know, what are they doing? Yes. Would I take a Breece Hall because he's undrafted free agent? Yes. Next year? Yes. Would I want an Alvin Kamara in this offense for short term? I know he's 30, but for $6 million, you could get away from the deal next year, which they wouldn't do. They wouldn't pick up that option for next year, even though he re-upped here recently, which is ridiculous for his age. But, I mean, this guy's Kareem Hunt's age. He's got to understand who he is. But I'll say this. I can't imagine somebody else out there that I think would fit more in an Andy Reid offense than Alvin Kamara. And I know he doesn't want to be traded. He's going to go to the beach and drink Mai Tais if he's traded, right? And everybody said it's pina coladas or something like that because he didn't want to move. Did play at Hutch JUCO, so it's not exactly in the area, but it kind of is in the state of Kansas. But, yeah, I'm more for I understand defensive line. I see all these reports Chiefs are interested in defensive line and edge. Well, no crap. No crap. Just look at the Chiefs roster and what they are. Of course they're interested in that. I would be more interested in running backs as well.
Right now, we're joined in studio by Binkley. Binkley, two teams I want to ask you about. If you're a believer, we'll get to college coming up after the commercial break. Are you a believer in the Indianapolis Colts? That was a nice win for them on Sunday.
Yeah, that win. Yeah, Daniel Jones got a chip on his shoulder. I do like players with chips on their shoulder. Jonathan Taylor's a stud. And Tyler Warren is completely a stud. And I just think it's funny that people are not giving the Bears more crap. Like, everybody loves the Bears.
It never made any sense to me why they took Loveland over
They took Colson Loveland at 10. Tyler Warren's sitting right there.
Yeah.
Like, Tyler Warren would have made a difference for that offense. Colson Loveland doesn't even start. Komet starts for him. I mean, his production's down. Like, no one cared. Like, the Bears continue to draft the wrong guy. And they didn't take Tyler Warren, which is an absolute stud. That's a great fit for Indianapolis. This guy's on a touchdown tear at this point. So that's a big reason why they're for real. But, yeah, I know they went out to the Chargers. They're down 3 tackles at this point, and Marion Hampton is on injured reserve. But they handled them, man. And they handled them in L.A. And I thought that was a real kind of litmus test. Who's going to get the win number 5? It's going to be the Chargers or the Colts. So, yeah, they certainly showed me something with that win against the Chargers. I mean, I wouldn't say great upper echelon, but that's a good team that will be a playoff team.
Are you a believer in the Broncos?
I was, and I guess I am coming back 33 points in the fourth quarter scoring. That shows a lot. It was really baffling only beating the Jets by 2, but that's what you chalk up to. London games are weird. I mean, Justin Fields was minus 10 yards. You only beat him by 2. That was one of our circa picks, by the way, when it Rob. And they got to beat him by 7, but it's a different story. But that defense is great. Pass rush is elite. I mean, they're doing things with pass rush. They went into this week with 30 sacks, with only 20 being in second place. I mean, they're still number 1 in the NFL in sacks. I do believe in that defense, and I was more a fan of Bo Nix and what he did last year than what he's doing this year. But I do like J.K. Dobbins. I do think Denver's a solid football team. So, yes, I do believe in them. Yeah, I do think they're the second best team in the AFC West.
I would say just right now, I think the Chiefs are in 2 completely different fights. They're in a fight for the division. I don't think the Chargers, like right now, the Chiefs and the Chargers have the same record. The Chiefs are going to win more games down the stretch. Denver, I look at their schedule. Denver's going to make this a very interesting race. You aren't winning this year by 4 games the way that you did last year. You're not lapping the field. And they're in a legitimate race for the 1 seed. Now, all the important games are still there. You play the Broncos twice. You play the Colts. You play the Bills coming up. So, we're going to have a pretty clear picture, I would say, in a month's time after you get past the game against the Commanders, if the Chiefs are realistic options for the 1 seed or not.